Are you guys gonna eat apples like Maya during the holidays, or are you just gonna eat a bunch of junk?
Don't do it. Don't lose your gains like that.
We're gonna tell you guys how to stay in shape during this holiday season, right, Maya? Yeah.
In all seriousness, we know that a lot of you get anxious before the holidays because you've made so much progress, you've been working out, you're fit, and you're worried that the holidays and all the temptations that go along with it are going to hinder your progress.
Let's be honest, it's a long time. It's almost 2 months of debauchery for a lot of people. So we're gonna help you guys try to stay in shape, or, as best shape as you can during these arduous times.
Got some great tips coming your way, so stick around.
As always, I'm Victor, that's Julian, baby Maya, and today we're here. Where are we?
Hold on a second, she's not a baby. Maya, you a baby?
Sorry,
What are you?
Big girl.
Sorry, we're here with the big girl, Maya, and
best
we're
place
here in
to
our
be.
favorite place, Beefy Miami Lakes, the best place to be. We're ready to work out, we're ready to have some fun, and more importantly, to give you guys some tips on how to stay fit during the holidays.
So to start, I think we have to acknowledge the many temptations that come along with the holiday season.
Yeah, let's address the white elephant in the room.
Let's. You got your holiday parties, your work parties, your family gatherings, your friendsgivings, and it all revolves around food.
Food, drinks, desserts, everything that we know you're trying to avoid actively if you're living a healthy, active lifestyle.
Yeah, and we want to say right off the bat that we're not here to tell you don't do any of those things.
You know us, guys. We're all about balance.
We're
We're
not
all about
that
having
gym.
fun, So we're trying to encourage you to enjoy these times without necessarily having to go to bed thinking like, oh man, I really screwed up today. So
Yeah, the guilt, without the guilt.
yeah, we don't want you guys to feel that.
And speaking of guilt, I think anxiety is something else that comes along with just thinking about all these things that you got going on, especially when you're a little bit more serious about the results that you're seeing or the results that you've seen in the past year. And then you don't want to throw it all away or think that you're taking a few steps back because of all these things. So I think it's important to acknowledge that anxiety that a lot of people fear. You're at the gym?
Yeah.
Do you like this gym?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Good. You guys will too.
So we know, we preach about it all the time, one of the best ways to stay consistent and to be fit is to have a routine. And the problem with the holiday season is that routine kind of goes away, and you travel, like you said, you have these parties, you have these different things. You might have a week off here and there. So I think one of the most important parts is getting that routine down.
Yeah, that lack of routine is gonna throw you off track. If you've been on track up until now and you have these things set in place, all of a sudden you take a weekend off, you travel there, then it's a holiday party, your work schedule changes, and now all of a sudden you're thrown off of that routine. And unless you are mindful about, I need to get back, I need to at least do the tips that we're gonna talk to you about of how to stay in shape and how to stay fit. If you're not mindful of that, it's very easy without even realizing that you just went a week without working out. You just went a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then you might fall off the wagon completely.
And an example of that is we talked about it a lot. We just had our challenge. It ended about a month ago. And after the challenge, some people take a week off or they take like a few days off because they went really hard. And we noticed that after that break, it's much harder for them to come back and much harder for them to form that routine. So even if you're doing 2 to 3 times a week and that's your routine, I feel like that's okay as long as you're mindful and you're aware that you have this routine and you're not completely neglecting it.
Yeah. The other thing is being careful about it's the holidays mindset.
Yeah.
A lot of people kind of check out of like the whole fitness thing
And work
starting in
and everything.
November. And then it's just like, no, but it's the holidays.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about how that is a mistake, and you don't want to take a few steps back and dig yourself into a hole that you now have to dig yourself out of, or climb out of, rather. You don't dig yourself out of a hole.
I guess you could dig under and then dig back up.
You see that guy that created the shovel? It's like a second handle, and you could just grab it like this. Like, he just made it up.
That wasn't invented? Wow, that's crazy.
Exactly. Yep. He just attached a second handle to it, and it's like super
Much easier.
ergonomic.
Have you held a shovel like that? It sucks.
It
destroys your
sucks. It
hands.
sucks. Yeah, it's crazy for your back. God, my dry scalp.
This guy's
Okay,
dandruff.
It might be dry scalp. It's a different thing. Again, any dermatologists out there, I know there's few of you, but hit me up.
Help him out.
Let's barter.
Yeah.
We'll train you. You treat my scalp.
If you know anything about treat him too.
Oh, come on. Uncalled
I'm not
for.
even-
Really, what we're doing with this podcast is highlighting the relationship between enjoyment and discipline. it doesn't have to be one or the other. That's where a lot of people get this wrong, where it's an all or nothing mindset. And we strongly believe here at Be Fit that you can have your cake and eat it too, but you have to be strategic about it.
Definitely. And that's what we're always talking about, balance. And we're always talking about that we want you guys to enjoy things. We're not trying to tell you how to live your life, not to enjoy the holidays, to be the person saying, oh no, I don't want dessert at the holiday party. You can, as long as you have all these things that we're talking about down pat and you're doing your routine during the week. Well, we're going to tell you, I almost slipped and told you early.
He always does it.
I can't help it.
So let's move on to discussing setting the right expectations and goals for this holiday season. I think it's important to understand and be conscious of exactly what you're getting yourself into so you don't have unrealistic expectations and so you don't set yourself up for failure.
Definitely. And like we always talk about, it's much easier to stay in shape, even if it's not like the best shape you've been in, you're not going extra hard. It's easier to stay in shape. And then when January comes around, you just jump back on and you haven't lost all your progress. That's much easier than completely giving up for a month or 2 months and then hopping back in. That's super difficult. And you're going to feel it. Your body's going to feel it. You're going to notice it. So trust us, even if you're not doing as much as you normally would, try to at least be doing something.
Yeah, if you remember when you first started, obviously it's a lot harder than now, than keeping the momentum going. That's why we always advise our clients and members to just don't stop, which is going to be a big theme in this podcast, which is just don't stop. And you'd be surprised, you don't have to train 4, 5, 6 days a week. You can get away with 2, 3 days a week and shorter workouts. We're going to tell you exactly how to do that, but the main point there being that you don't want to stop and then have to start all over again, because we all know how hard that is.
Think of the soreness, how sore you are when you first start, that feeling of I will have to go to the gym. When you don't have that consistency, that's hard. It's hard to get home from work and not want to just sit on the couch for a little bit. But if you have that consistency, you know you're gonna go, you're just gonna get up and go. Trust us, it's a lot more difficult if you completely stop.
So when it comes to expectations and goals, one of the things to keep in mind is that you should probably be thinking about like maintenance mode, or what I call damage control, but you're not trying to set any new PRs, in other words. And I'll give you an example. When I had my first kid, I knew what I was gonna get myself into. Well, you had an idea of what you're gonna get yourself into, but I knew that there was gonna be sleep deprivation, I was gonna be sleeping well, I was gonna be stressed, huge change coming to my life. But of course, I didn't wanna, lose my fitness and everything that I've achieved.
Go full dad bod.
So I just went, it was like project damage control. I'm just gonna do as little as I can possibly do to somewhat maintain. I wasn't trying to maintain like this crazy level of fitness. I just didn't want to lose it, that's all. So I would just sneak in a run, 20 minutes here, do a HIIT home workout for 15, 20 minutes, literally as short as possible.
Go do some pull-ups outside.
Do some pull-ups outside, anything to not, again, what you just said, to not completely fall off the wagon. And it not only was that important to maintain my fitness level, but also surprisingly, it gives you a little bit more energy, like we talked about in our last podcast.
So check it out.
It gives you a little bit more energy because you're staying fit, your conditioning stays up. So that's something that I would encourage people to do, is thinking about that maintenance mode.
It's funny that you say that, because sometimes when I find myself fatigued, let's be honest, you don't always have time to take a nap or something. You do a very quick, like what I call a prison workout, some push-ups, some pull-ups, and that actually gives you like a little burst of energy. So
yep, some jumping around.
Yeah, like you said, those
shaking.
20 minutes doing all that is better than doing that is better than just completely taking that time off. That's gonna kill you guys, trust me. As like anytime you've been injured or you go out of town or something and you don't work out, that takes a toll on your body, and we know how dangerous and how difficult that roller coaster of fitness can be.
Yep, absolutely. And on that note, another thing to have the right expectation is having a little bit of flexibility in your routine. Like we spoke about, you might not have that rigid routine that you're used to. You might be traveling, different work schedule. You have a holiday party on this day. So have flexibility. Hey, I can't do my normal 7 a.m. workout, but I'm going to schedule something for 5 p.m. I have a little bit of a window there before I have to get ready to go to that holiday party. Make sure that you're flexible, because if you're that type of person like, well, I missed my 7 a.m. workout, guess I'm not working out today, or I missed a few days this week, I guess my whole week is a wash.
Yeah.
That's just not a good strategy.
Trabajar fea.
You're
You're gonna see it ugly.
going to see it real ugly.
Now it's time for practical tips.
Yeah. So we just briefly touched on it, but shorter workouts is always a good tip.
Sorry, I was briefly touching on you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Warm hands.
Always.
Look at this.
Oh, God, I wish you guys could feel that.
Anywho,
Go on.
short workouts work.
That sounds funny.
They do though.
What's the shortest you can go?
That's a question right in the comments. What's the shortest you can possibly go? Some even say shorter is better.
I've never heard that, but that's good to know.
Shout out to. All right, but seriously, if you're used to an hour workout, 45-minute workout, it doesn't always have to be an hour.
Yeah.
Didn't we do a whole podcast on shorter workouts or
pretty
advice
sure
for busy people? That's
Yeah,
what it was.
yeah.
We've done a lot of podcasts at this point.
The advice for busy people one gives some good tips on how to squeeze in and manage your time. It was for like busy moms, employees that have barely any time. So
Yep, parents.
check that one out. And I think anywhere from, it really depends on the style of workout. Because
I'll be honest, you could do, like I saw somebody posted the other day, do you remember what complexes are? Where
Yeah.
you just like, you grab one piece of equipment and you do
Yep.
something like nonstop. It was like a 10-minute complex with a barbell.
It's
It was like
exhausting.
bent over row, then deadlifts, then military press. You never let go of the barbell. Anyway, my point being that you'd be surprised what you can do in 10 to 15 minutes.
If you get creative, yeah, like you can go out and sprint for 15 minutes. You're gonna be exhausted. You're gonna be
Yeah,
smoked.
for sure.
Or you can choose 1 or 2 strength exercises and do 25 minutes. Doesn't always have to be so rigid. It doesn't have to be that whole hour.
And this is the thing that trips people up. I think it's a mindset thing. I don't have the hour to work out today, so I'm not gonna work out. A lot of people don't think, well, I have 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And they think, well, what the hell am I gonna do in 20 minutes? And I'm here to tell you that that is the wrong mentality to have. Remember, this is maintaining. It's a lot easier to maintain. If you're already pretty lean, if you've been working out, if you've been making progress, a 20-minute workout is gonna do a lot for you. Whereas skipping a workout altogether, now you're doing nothing. There's no stimulus there at all. So
Yeah, and that's gonna have a detrimental effect on you because we know that snowballs. That one day of missing the workout turns into 2, turns into a week, turns into a month, and then like we just spoke about, that's a hole you got to dig yourself out of now. Whereas if you do these micro workouts, you're at least kind of setting yourself up for some sort of success during this holiday season.
And if you're wondering, well, I don't really know what to do, we actually have an entire playlist in this YouTube channel that we created during COVID, and it's what, 20-minute workouts? 20,
No,
25
they're like 12
minutes?
to 15. The quickies?
No.
Oh, that's a whole different channel.
Jesus.
Scratch that.
That's a whole other one. But no, the COVID at home playlist.
Yeah,
It's
it's like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like 20 minutes or so.
I don't even remember, but it's short and you don't need any equipment, so no excuses. It's just body weight circuits.
And it's on
And it's
YouTube.
strength training, so
Yeah.
it's not just like cardio stuff.
And it's like actual exercises.
It's hard. It's not easy.
These
So.
little BS ones you see out there.
So we spoke about shorter workouts. Another tip is to do less frequency. So if you've been doing 5 workouts a week, you can easily get away with doing 2 to 3, and again, still maintain.
Yeah, and I don't want you guys to feel like that's an L or a failure on your part. Like, I think you're still doing a lot more than most people if you're doing 2 to 3 times a week. I don't know if you agree with me or not there, but during the holidays, a lot of people just drop off altogether, and we see it here all the time. And then we see them come back in January, and they regret it. Trust me.
And what would you advise, like any tips for like programming or what to actually do if you're going from 5 days or 4 days to 2?
Definitely do 2 full body days. Usually you have the luxury if you're doing 5 days, 4 days, you do your splits. You know, some people do push-pull, some people split it up by body parts. If you're doing 2 days, just do 2 full body days. Focus on compound movements.
Yep.
Compound movements being, you know, bigger muscles, the deadlift, the squat, pull-ups, push-ups. These exercises that use bigger muscles.
More bang for your buck.
Yeah, just focus on those. Do some combination exercises, squat to press, RDL to row. These things that kind of give you a little more bang for your buck, like you said.
All the hard stuff.
Yeah, basically everything that sucks. I mean, guys, let's be honest. You're working out less days. You're gonna have to do harder stuff.
It's true. Yeah, but again, that is the winning strategy. And
Yep.
I'm telling you, I've done it before. My clients have done it before. You can get away with 2 solid workouts a week, and then people are surprised when they do that. They come back after the holidays. We do their body fat. Hey, I only went up very little, or I didn't go up
Yeah,
at all
not as
because
bad as I
you
thought.
didn't do. You still maintained a little bit.
Yeah, you're
so.
gonna let yourself completely go
Yep.
nuts. Another little tip that I like to do, as the Tigger of the family, it's always bouncing off the walls. I like to do like active things with the family when you're not eating or drinking. You know, throw the football around, chase the kids around, do these little things, play a little laser tag. I don't know if you guys remember laser tag. It's
Such an
fire.
all-American guy you are.
I'm an all-American guy, you know. I was
Do
raised
our
in
Cuban,
America.
do our Cuban parents know how to throw a football?
I'll teach them. You know, throw baseball, ponte los guantes, boxea un poquitito.
Remember the day that you brought out the VR
Oh, that was fun.
game
That
and
was
we had
fun.
them all boxing?
They boxed,
They were
they played
exhausted.
ping pong. It was exhausting. But things like that, you know, go on a little walk with the cousins. You know what I'm saying?
Brief interruption. This podcast is brought to you by
Flowers.
Las Flores.
¿Cómo anda?
¿Qué hola?
Bien,
¿Cómo anda?
bien.
¿Ya votaste?
Hola. Ajá. No, nadie quiere hoy. Gracias, amigo. Yo solo el futuro de algo. Gracias, amigo. Cuídate.
The gigantic man.
Jesus Christ, what a mastodon.
Is enormous. Whatever they were feeding him in DR.
Plátano, a lot of plátanos. He's 12 years old. And let's be honest, sometimes you want to go on a little walk because you need a little break. The family can get a little intense. And I don't mean that, not mine. Mine is great. I love my family. But some of our families can get a little intense. And, going on a little extended walk might not always be a bad idea.
Yeah, and I mean, that sounds silly, like, okay, what's a walk gonna do? But there is some good research that, like, especially after eating, it helps with your blood glucose response and things like that. Like, it's good to move either before or after you eat. So it does have, like, a physiological...
Yeah, it's not just a silly little walk.
Yeah.
But, it's either that or lay on the couch. I feel like those are the only two options.
I'll be honest, I'll probably be on the couch.
Oh, you're going to be on the couch like this. I know it already.
Yep.
After
I'll
that
take a little
turducken we're
micro
eating.
nap.
You know what a turducken is?
No. Word of the day.
Turducken.
Turducken.
I'm pretty sure it's a duck. No, a chicken inside of a duck. You stuff the chicken in the duck, then you stuff the duck in the turkey.
I have heard that.
Turducken.
That's wild.
Baby, look how cute.
Look over there.
Oh. Okay, now run away. Run away as fast as
She's
you can.
off.
So yeah,
Okay.
turduckens, am I right?
All right, so let's move on to probably the more challenging part, navigating holiday food.
Ew.
Who
By
wants to
navigate,
do
you're gonna
that?
put it in my mouth, right?
All of it. This is how I navigate.
Yeah. Navigate towards this direction. Eat the whole thing, guys. No, I'm just kidding.
Everything.
I think the first most important tip, because we were surrounded by all these delicious foods, is to eat mindfully. You can have a piece of pie, but don't have the whole pie. Don't cut yourself a slice and then put that slice in the middle and eat the rest of it. Don't stuff yourself. Don't overload your plate. Watch your portions. Control. Be controlled.
I think that the better strategy, instead of avoiding like that's the unhealthy thing, I'm not gonna touch
Put
it.
a little bit.
Yeah, have it, but
You gotta taste it.
yeah, have it. Just have, be controlled about it, and then maybe not have a second helping.
Well, you told yourself that.
I'm not trying to lose weight.
I want to send you guys videos of him overstuffing his plate on Thanksgiving. For those of us that rarely eat this kind of food and we want to go ham or want to go turkey, depends on what you eat, this holiday season, there's other strategies besides just portion control. What do you think is another better one?
Yeah, so my personal favorite is what I call the Joe Cool strategy.
Joe Joe Cool is a very consistent long-term client. We've had here for a long time, and his strategies are a little bit off the wall, but I personally like this one.
Yeah, so this one's not too off the wall. It's very common. It's basically planning ahead, right? So if you know that you're gonna have a giant dinner, eat light for the beginning of the day. Maybe skip breakfast or have a very light breakfast, very light lunch, or no lunch at all. Just skip one of the two. Maybe do some physical activity. And then now, guess what? If you're looking at your total caloric intake, let's say you're not counting calories, but let's say you got to eat 2,000 calories, but you've only eaten 300 or 400 by the time you get to dinner, that's a lot of calories that you are quote unquote allowed to eat. Like you're allotted a lot more. So again, it's just damage control. Instead of having 3 meals that day, 3 big meals, you have light meals, and then you're planning for what you're about to do at night, and then you can just
you're about to do.
And you can just go nuts at the end of the day and
it's a
just
good
do
time
whatever you want.
to practice intermittent fasting. Give
Yeah,
it a crack.
I'd say so. You'd probably be fasting that next day too.
Yeah. So what do you recommend to the people that have multiple events on the same day?
I mean, you're
Go.
just going
cooked.
crazy here.
You're
Come
cooked.
on now. No, but what I would say to that is you have a day before and you have a day after. So now instead of on the same day, look at your week like that. Hey,
Smart.
I have 2 events this week. That means that the other days I should be a little bit more strict, a little bit more mindful about what I'm eating, and of course working out, because you can always work out. I'm sorry, I don't take that excuse of I didn't have time to work out. You can always do something, and again, you're just doing a lot more in your favor.
Yeah, like we always say, guys, calories in and calories out. So if you're looking at it, let's say in a 4-day span, and the middle 2 days you have this is weird, you have 2 events. If you work out, you're giving yourself that caloric surplus, so you're allowing yourself to eat a little more these days. So work out, eat light the other days, and then you're gonna have a little fun during these bigger days.
And let me say something that I think is important that we've said before, but you're not earning your food. You're not working out to earn your food. That's a very toxic mindset that unfortunately a lot of people still have. And that's you're not a dog, you're not doing something where like, oh, I worked out, so now I get to eat this food.
Yeah.
No, the reason that we tell you to do these strategies is because you have these fitness goals, you're a fit person, you work out, you don't want to lose the progress that you've made. So this is how you strategize to not lose that progress. But it's not because, oh, I'm earning this pie or earning this little treat. No, because then that would imply that if you didn't work out, you didn't earn it, you don't deserve it, you can't have it. And that's just not a good way to think about food.
We look at everything from the numbers point. So if you're worked out and you burn 300 calories, that's just 300 more calories you can eat, baby. You know, like, I'm not looking at it as a prize.
Maybe.
You know, for the holiday season.
Give or take. But then people start playing that game too. Oh, I burned 800 calories in the morning.
Not literally,
so
guys. Not
I can have 3 glasses of wine.
God.
And right along with that, so what we have written down is avoiding food guilt, but I don't think you could avoid the guilt. If you're one of those people that tends, I know you've never heard of it, but for the average person, they definitely, they would definitely feel guilty if they ate a little bit too much or overindulge. And I'm not gonna tell you don't feel guilty. That's like telling you, hey, when you're upset, stop being upset. You know?
Okay. Thanks.
However, I think that some of the stuff that we just spoke about and having the right expectations and planning for it, you're already prepared for it. And I think it's all about preparation. And of course, the next day you can always decide to, all right, I'm gonna have a fit, healthier day today. Just don't. The guilt sometimes leads to more binging and just like, screw it, I already ate like an animal anyway. Yeah, don't do that because now you're just rationalizing.
So preparation the days before and then preparation H the days after.
Of course. I'm going to need some extra. So if anybody wants to donate.
This guy's always asking for donations.
Always. You never know. I'll say one more thing about guilt. You have to understand that if you are the type of person that on the day-to-day, on the regular, is pretty mindful and tries to make healthier choices and works out, like you really don't have much to worry about. You know, it's something where you have to think to yourself, hey, I do pretty well. I do 80-20 rule, whatever that might be. Like, let me enjoy today without thinking about it. 80-20 would be like 80% of the things that you consume are mostly healthy, and then 20% is like whatever comes up, or whatever treat I wanna indulge in. But if you are that type of person, that's the way I think about it. It's like, hey, I make good choices most of the time. It's a special day. This isn't about calories or anything like that. It's about spending time with family, enjoying these special memories together. So it's not about, oh, I feel so bad because I'm eating this, or like, oh God, I really want to eat that thing, but I feel like just have it and then get back on track.
Yeah, and we're not trying to tell you guys, this whole podcast, the whole point is not to tell people, hey, the holiday season is about your fitness and your health. It's like he just said, it's a special time, spend it with your loved ones. Somebody cooks something, don't be like, I can't eat that because I'm on this diet and I'm working out. Indulge, have a little bit, eat a little bit. But like you said, jump right back on and then you won't have that guilt. If you're prepared,
you'll be perfectly fine.
If you know that the next day, hey, I got my workout lined up, then you don't have that guilt.
Yeah, also if Abuela makes her special flan, you better freaking eat it.
If you don't eat that flan, I'm going to clock you.
You better eat Abuela's flan. One does not simply deny the flan.
So let's wrap things up by talking a little bit about the psychology of fitness.
Sorry,
No, is that...
I know, I'm sorry. Just talk to them.
So let's wrap this up by talking a little bit about the psychology of staying fit during the holidays.
I think we've talked about it already, but it starts with mindset. For example, expectations and also how you go into it. For example, the all or nothing mindset doesn't really help anybody. They're all in on fitness, I'm eating healthy, I'm doing all the things, or I'm in holiday mode, which is like a bear before hibernation. I just don't think that's helpful. What's more helpful is embracing balance, is understanding that you can do a little bit of each. And again, you're not gonna set any PRs or any records. However, you are gonna do a lot of damage control, and there is a way that you can stay fit and keep the progress that you've made throughout the holidays. It all starts with your mindset.
And if you guys don't know what that is that you have to do, then rewind the video, rewind the audio because you weren't listening. We just told you guys. But seriously, you guys know throughout the whole year, we preach balance. And during the holiday season, it's not much different. Obviously, it might skew a little bit. You might go from 80-20 to 70-30, 60-40, and as far as healthy decisions. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. As long as you're still mindful and you're still preparing and you're still having your workouts, I think you'll be fine.
That's a good point with the workouts. We always talk about consistency. If you're staying consistent with the workouts, even if you went from 5 days a week to 2 or 3, again, you can get away with eating a little bit more, indulging a little bit more, go on that trip, enjoy the time, but without feeling that guilt or shame or like, oh, this is really gonna set me back.
And if you're going out of town and you feel like you can't get a workout in, I promise you're lying, because you can. If you're going anywhere, if you're going to Europe, you can go for like these super long walks. If you're going to a hotel, you can work out in the hotel gym. You can go for a jog. You can even do. We have, like we said, these workouts on our YouTube that you can do in your hotel room. So, there's literally no excuse.
Yeah, again, it all starts with mindset. And if you go into that vacation or that trip or whatever with the mindset of, I'm still gonna get my workout in, I'm gonna plan for it.
I brought my shoes.
I brought my gym clothes, then you're fine. Like you really can have your cake and eat it too. We've seen it time and time again.
You can have your flan and eat it too.
All the cookies.
Make sure you leave Santa some non-GMO, gluten-free cookies, okay? So he can
high protein ones.
Steal your presents.
He'll burn your house down. So, like we've said a bunch of times already in this podcast, enjoy the holidays. That's what it's for. It's to enjoy those memories with friends,
family.
Have some good food, enjoy each other's companies, take a mental and physical break from your everyday life. God knows we all need it. And don't forget, December 7th, this comes out a few weeks before December 7th, right? December 7th is when we're having our Be Fit holiday picnic. So you all already know about that, but just reminding you. And come by and let's have some fun. We'll have some good food there, I promise.
We'll have food, and like I said, we'll have little silly activities. I'll be throwing a frisbee around. I'll be doing slackline. I'll be painting faces. I'll be doing all sorts of things.
All right.
The face painting is going to be with a Sharpie, though, so do it at your own risk, All
right. And with that,
guys, happy holidays. We hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for making us a part of your holidays. And, go out there and have some fun. See you guys. Say bye, people.
Hi, people.
Bye.
Say happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
We weren't recording.
Oh my gosh.